welcome, everyone. I've got another brilliant guest, and I know it's not Friday, but it is Thursday, midweek. Well, kind of midweek. So please introduce yourself and tell us everything about yourself. Everything.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm Rocker from Rocker's Beer Review. That's my sort of alter ego. My real name is Martin. It's not as exciting, but I've always been. A lot of my friends call me Rocker just because of my love of rock music. So I thought that would be a good title to call my channel. Really. I'm originally from Essex. Well, hopefully a lot of people know where that is. But I live up in the northwest of England. So I live up in Chester. And I've been doing my channel now since June 2020. So it pretty much came. I know there's probably a lot of other beer reviewers similar from sort of like the pandemic and sort of wanting to do something else while I was sitting around waiting for things to sort of start happening again. So I literally discovered craft beer in the sort of a few months before that, and then I decided I'd start reviewing it. Really, I wanted people to sort of see me go on the sort of journey as I sort of was discovering it for the first time. Really, so I didn't have like years of experience of drinking craft beer at all. I'd literally, 3 or 4 months before that, I was basically a lager drinker. So that's really how it sort of developed.
Yeah, well, I think that can be a good thing that you're coming from a fresh perspective, that you don't have this perception of, say, breweries or types of beers, that everything's kind of fresh and new to you.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know what the difference between a pale ale and an IPA was, or what the difference between what a sour was, or a ghost or anything like that. I didn't know any of the brewery names. I always drank either in general sort of pubs, or I used to buy sort of general supermarket sort of stable macro brewer sort of beers sort of thing. So I think my perception was of craft beer was more the sort of real ale sort of stuff, which I always sort of didn't really sort of go, wasn't really into, and then when I sort of started discovering it, and early on, where I started was where I had a Beer 52 subscription, and that was really my sort of eye opener to the different sort of styles. But I felt that I moved on quite quickly from that. But obviously, that's how I used to start the channel. I used to do a lot of the reviews of Beer 52.
I think a lot of especially the British, because Beer 52 is British, a lot of them have done the Beer 52. I think a lot of people have done that. And then kind of when they've got a good while, I think people have stopped it because they kind of know what they want to pick their own beers. So
I think you with Beer 52, it all sounds like a great idea, and until you start it, and then you realise that if you're drinking other beers, you're buying stuff from bottle shops or online bottle shops, you realise that actually the quality isn't quite there. I mean, it's good to try stuff that you probably wouldn't necessarily try. To know the different styles, but I think most people start it and don't really continue it. So I probably did it for at least 6 months though until I stopped it, because you always think, the next one's going to be something different and better and stuff, and inevitably it's always a little disappointing.
Yeah, I think it maybe if they had beer from the other countries, that's the biggest selling point. If you can't get them, I suppose that's what I seen. And they had some Irish beers there that people wouldn't be able to get. So your stats are up on the screen. Pretty good stats. So your channel is about 616 days old. You have about 150 views per day. Yeah, so 1.27 subs. So I think brilliant stats. I looked at a lot of channel stats. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wanted to have this sort of the rock side of things as well, just to make it a little bit different. And as much as I'd like to do, I always would like to do more rock stuff. But certainly, I've seen the growth in the channel around more the sort of, I do like ranking of like classic rock albums. I do reviews of new stuff that comes out. I've done the odd sort of concert review, my top 10 songs by different sort of heavy metal, hard rock, progressive rock sort of bands. and I get a whole different type of sort of subscriber base. But then there is also this overlap as well, because a lot of people that like drinking beer like rock music. So, and other reviewers. I know there's other reviewers out there that I know through their channels and social media. They're all into rock. They're into rock music as well. So it's obviously a sort of shared sort of passion, really. But I know that my channel has probably grown quicker than I probably anticipated, and I know a lot of that's probably down to some of the sort of rock stuff where I've attracted a different audience, and so I've got a lot of different viewers, sort of thing, that are just interested in the rock stuff, and less so the beer.
Well, you're good to get them subs, like, because some would probably come to your channel and then see he's kind of more of a beer channel. I'm not going to watch his other content, but they have subscribed to you. So I think that's pretty good. Next thing I kind of want to ask you, were you watching any other Beertubers before you started?
Yeah, I mean, I probably, like a lot of people, I probably started watching Simon at Real Ale Craft Beer, Scott and Wanda, Jonathan at Northern Southern Beer Reviews, Brett at Beardy Beer Reviews, yourself. I mean, there was a lot of, a lot of them we'd all sort of watch each other, I think. But I presume, I think Simon's was because he's been there doing it the longer, he's got a big channel. So as soon as I started looking at one craft beer video, I would always be suggested other ones by him, sort of thing. So, so I saw a lot of that sort of stuff as well. I suppose, I mean, that's definitely the sort of people I watched with the craft beer. I mean, there's lots of others, and I know that,
you're going to miss someone if you don't mention. There's too many people to mention, and there's too many people to watch, because I watch a lot of people, and I miss you for a while, and then I'll go on to someone else, and then I come back to other people. That's the way it goes, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, sometimes, people going, it's a little bit, you see, they've got a beer, and you watch it, and then you think, I want to drink that beer. That sounds really good. And then you drink it, and then you think, am I sort of copying them because I'm reviewing it? But it's mainly when I see them review it, other people review beer, it makes me want to drink it, and I think hopefully that's what the viewers, they see stuff and they think, that looks like he's really enjoying it, and I like that sort of stuff. So, bring it on, sort of thing. So I certainly, I know the supermarket type of beers that we all review, you get a lot more viewers for them, because, people can go, well, I know I can go into my local supermarket and pick that up easily, and I want to know what it's like. So, so they're quite, quite important, but obviously it's also adding all the other stuff as well. So.
Yeah, and if you're new to it, and say if you have a budget, the supermarket is out there and it's accessible to you, and it's not going to a bottle shop where prices are a little bit more expensive and might put you off. So I think that's how the supermarket beers kind of win over people. So Simo's in the house. Hi Simo, how you doing?
Oh, hi Simo. Yeah, I've seen Simo as well, and I've seen him on. I think I first saw him when he was on the other Tom from the Crumbly
Beard.
Crumbly Beard, yeah, that's it. So I've seen a few of his videos as well, and I watch a lot of his live streams. I don't watch as much live streams. I don't really do as many live streams, just because I find it just weird just talking to myself a lot on the and I get, and it's, you don't know whether you're entertaining when you're doing it for like a time. I did a couple when I was drinking like a dozen beers or half a dozen beers, and I was thinking by the end of it I didn't even know what was going on myself. So I don't do as many of those sort of live streams.
That's why the paddle or talking to someone is kind of better. You have someone to bounce off. I can't do live streams on my own. I can do these okay. This is no problem. Yeah, thanks, Scott and Wanda. Scott and Wanda type. It's probably Scott, but thanks for joining.
No, hi, Scott.
Good and bad points about YouTube.
Oh, well, I mean, the good points is that, it gives you an outlet, and, when the missus sort of says, oh, what you do, you're not drinking beer again. I say, well, I've got to do it for the channel. My fans want, so it gives me an excuse to drink more beer. So that's a good thing. you know, and obviously, you know, you're trying lots of new beers. I think the bad thing about it is when, and this is an analogy that I've used before, but you know, sometimes I open up my fridge and it's like later on at night, I don't really want to do a review, or open up my fridge and I've got loads of beers in there. And I think I've got nothing to drink. Yeah, I can't, you know, I think I can't drink these because I want to review them. So that can become quite annoying when you just want to sit and enjoy a beer. And sometimes I'll do a review and I'll drink a beer and I'll be talking about it all the way through it. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to go and sit and enjoy that. And then I've done the review and I think, I've finished my beer. And I didn't really sit and I overanalyzed it, except for just letting myself enjoy it. So I think that's always, I think a lot of beer reviewers will be the same with that, is that, you know, you get a beer and you think, I'm overanalyzing this when I always used to just enjoy beer and just drink it, you know. And then that's how it's different as a YouTuber. And I think the other thing is, I mean, you know, I've met quite a lot of people. I've met people like I met Beer Dad's Beer Review, Dave. I met him at a beer festival. We had a drink together, and it was like, I was thinking, oh yeah, we were like kindred spirits. You know, we were both into rock music, and we've been doing obviously the beer channel and stuff. And it was good to meet them face to face. And I speak to a lot of people, you know, on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, where, you know, it's good. So, I mean, obviously, within the last sort of couple of years, I probably drank more beer at home than I've ever done, and been in pubs hardly at all really over the last sort of few years. So that's, I hope as things are getting better now, that we'll get to a point where, you know, there'll be more meetups and stuff like that, which would be good.
Beer festivals, I think, should come back, especially in England, should come back this summer. I think they might come back here in Ireland if they're organised. Any good or bad comments on your channel? So what's any bad comments or?
Oh, what, from people? I mean, yeah, I get a few. I mean, I remember having one where someone said, you should grow yourself a proper beard. You got no excuse not to look after your skin and all this sort of stuff. And it was a completely obscure one, and it was like out of the blue. And I just thought, blimey, this is, you know, I'm just talking about beer, and people are there analysing what I look like, and it's. And I thought that was a bit weird. I mean, I don't really have many bad comments. I mean, I think it's one of those sort of things. If you want to be controversial in your videos, you're asking for comments. So, you know, so you've got to take that. You've got to take, if you sort of drink a beer and you know there's a lot of people that like it, but you just don't like it, and you know you're going to get people reviewing bad stuff, you know, saying things about it. You know, to some extent, you want that engagement. But, you know, then you just have to be a little bit thick-skinned. I've not had any sort of hate at all from anyone. I mean, as I said, I don't do as much live streams because I think that always attracts a few of the nutters, you know, out there. And I've had instances where, you know, people that I know, you know, that I don't know who they are, but they've got a different name, and they're making sort of some comments, and you think, yeah, it's just a bit sort of. It just makes you feel a bit rubbish, really. So, yeah. Okay.
Any promotional products? So, have you sent any beer? Have you sent anything from any companies?
Well, if anyone's out there want to send me stuff, then please do. But I mean, when I started it, people said, "Oh, I bet you started that beer channel so you can get loads of beer sent to you." And in reality, it doesn't happen. Only one time I've had beer sent to me, and that was by someone that I knew through my other business, that was a promoter at a drinks company, and it was alcohol-free beer of all things. So he sent me actually got 2 cases of it, and I gave one away as a giveaway on the channel, and I had one, but that was, as I say, that was alcohol-free beer, so I don't almost count that as a beer product, as it were.
What do you think about promotional products or being sent products?
Well, I think it's fine as long as you're always objective about it. I mean, you know, I think that's always, the companies have always had this issue with that. You know, if people are, if they send you something, they expect you to give a glowing review. But I know I've spoken to beer companies where they'll say, "Oh yeah, I like, you know, I'm a big lover of Polly's, which is a Welsh North Wales company. They're quite big in the UK in terms of they're in lots of bottle shops, and they make really good beer, and a sort of New England style beers that I really like. And they've come on and said, oh yeah, we like what you're doing, and thanks for the support. And I do overgush with them, thinking, because I do genuinely like their beer. But I know they get loads of people, loads of sort of influencers on Instagram and stuff saying, oh, please send me your beer and I'll write you a good review. And so I think a lot of beer companies are just sort of, they're not doing it. It's not worth it for them. There's not enough. There's a lot of beer reviewers out there, so who they're going to send it to. So that's I suppose that's the difference. But I think it's a good thing if they're a small company and they want to get their beer out to more people that might not know about it. And I think if they would send me stuff like that, I would always go, well, I'll give an honest review, but I'll probably want to be, I won't say anything bad about it, but if I don't think it's the best beer, then I'll also say that as well. But I think there's a lot of small breweries that have got to sort of fight amongst a lot of small, bigger craft brewers companies. Because even in the time I've done it, I've seen a lot of craft beer companies in the UK have got really seem to get really big because they just, because there was a massive demand for it from people being at home and drinking at home. So I think a lot of them have done well. I mean, I spoke to my local bottle shop and they said they've had that 2020 was their best year because of that, because people weren't going to pubs because pubs were closed. So I think it's, they don't need to get, there's a lot of companies that don't need to get that promotion, but yeah, as I said, only the alcohol-free stuff that's been sent to me. But
what do you think about, say, some of the smaller breweries and maybe accessing, say, YouTube or to people or social, just like sharing a review or sharing reviews or like things like that using social media? Do you think some breweries don't do enough on that end? If you do a review of their beer, you do a good review, an honest review, that maybe sharing it out on their platform. Do you think that should be a kind of a thing that the breweries should embrace?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I mean, because I don't see many breweries. I follow them, a lot of them on Instagram and on Twitter and places like that. And I don't always, unless someone's posted something on that actual platform and then reference them, they might like it or they might sort of retweet it or whatever. But I don't see people saying, oh yeah, this person, because I suppose they may think that, us consumers can be a bit of a cynical bunch, and they'll say, oh, look at this, if Rocco's beer reviewers reviewed our beer and gave it a glowing report, consumers might think, oh, he's a stooge or whatever. That's the thing with social media generally. Everyone's on it, everyone hates it at the same time, because they all think it's a massive conspiracy to sort of sell us stuff that we don't want.
Next question I kind of wanted to ask you is about the ethics of YouTube. Scott kind of put a message up there. We won't really address that, but is there any ethics? Like, do you kind of let things go if you don't agree with people or you don't agree with a brewery, just kind of go, well, we don't agree and move on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, as I say, I don't, because it's at the end of the day, it's a bit of fun, and there'll be people that will watch it, and there'll be people that enjoy it, and there'll be people that go, that guy's an idiot, he knows nothing, and I sort of play a little bit on that. I'm a bit of an idiot, don't know nothing, because I don't want to sort of come across as preachy a little bit. So I think in terms of the overall ethics, I think, if you just try and be honest to yourself all the way through it, then you'll be all right. I think most people, certainly most of the beer reviewers I see, I don't see them trying to over promote anything over another or be unethical in terms of what they do. So I think, you just got to be yourself, really, because if you're not yourself, then people aren't going to sort of, they'll see through it. I think you can see through people that are trying to be unethical on YouTube.
Next kind of question about YouTube is, what do you think people are buying subs? Because I get a lot of Instagram message, especially buy 500 subs or buy so many watch minutes. What do you think about that? As a
Yeah, I
YouTuber,
mean, I don't really see how. I don't. Well, it probably goes back to the other thing. I think that any sort of I do get the, but I get some. I've got stuff from like China and the Far East and stuff, or we can boost your channel. We can get this, that, and the other. And ultimately, they're always too good to be true anyway. I don't believe them. And as I say, if you've got lots of subscribers or lots of views, it's short lived. And I don't
they're going
really
to be
do
taken
this.
away from you.
I don't
I'd say,
really, if I've got to pay for that sort of stuff as well, I don't really see the point. I don't think I'm ever going to make my channel a commercial venture. I mean, I do look at the stats like a lot of other channels, and I'm sure that Simon is doing well, but he's got 30,000 subscribers. And he's been doing it for 10 years. Maybe in 10 years I might get to that point, but I think as you say, I think you've got to sort of, now that, because I've obviously hit 1,000 subscribers and I am monetized, but it's pennies. It might even buy you a few beers, but I think you as much as you got one eye on that sort of thing, you also think, well, I could. You look at your reviews, for example, and you think this is a great review and it's a great new beer and everyone's going to love it, and it gets not many views, and then you do another one, and then suddenly it gets like lots of reviews, lots of views. Sorry, so you can't really buy it through your content and stuff, because you just never know what's going to do well, what's going to sort of resonate with people out there, and obviously working out algorithms and stuff like that to see where you appear and all that sort of stuff. It's a complicated business. I mean, I do work in the sort of marketing field, although I've not really done YouTube marketing and stuff, but I've done a bit of social media marketing and stuff, so I know a little bit about the basics and stuff. But it's like stuff like when to post, what time of the day and stuff like that. Some people would say something completely different, but I would always say that post when people are online, and it's going to be, if they're drinking beer, it's going to be sort of after 5 o'clock, but I know some beer reviewers that will post at 10 o'clock in the morning, so maybe they've had more success.
Well, if it works for them, if they're getting their views and people are watching at that time, because I've tried different times, nothing's really worked for me, but I think certain people, if you get a good following, people will come to it. Next kind of thing I want to ask you is about family and work. If you want to go into
well, I'm with my partner, and I've got 3 kids. They're all teenagers. So I'm it's a full-time job, just looking after that lot. So that's probably why I drink that much craft beer. And in terms of work, I'm a mobile app developer, so I build mobile apps for smaller businesses, and obviously the last couple of years has been a tricky situation with that, because I usually haven't been able to get out and see as many people. I used to do a lot of business networking. I know a lot of people locally or within this sort of northwest area, but I build sort of mobile apps for businesses that basically want to do things like have a booking system, or want to have a reward system, or want to let people know about what they do as a company. And I put together apps for the Apple and an Android Play Store. So that's my job.
Do you have any hobbies other than YouTube? Is it outside YouTube?
Well, obviously beer and music is probably my biggest 2 hobbies that obviously I do feature on the channel. Apart from that, I'm a West Ham supporter for my sins. I know that's a bit of a, it used to be everyone's second team, but after the things that have been going on this last week, everyone's a little bit not into West Ham because of some of the goings on of one of our players. So Catgate. West Ham. I don't go see them live that much, because because it's travelling down to London really. But I also go and watch Chester FC because they're my local team, and they're pretty rubbish. They're in the lower leagues. They're in the Northern Premier League. Yeah, Northern Premier League. So that's pretty much what I do. I mean, what else do I do? I do. I also do a bit of. I don't have much time for it, and it seems to take so much time when I do it. Is I'm even though I'm nearly 50 years old, I still am a bit of a gamer. So I do quite a lot of stuff on my PlayStation when I get the time. And I've always thought about whether I should do that on the YouTube as well. But maybe that's something for another day when I've worked out how to do it and if I've got enough time to do it. But that's something else I'm into and have been since I was a teenager basically.
Okay. Have you tried your hand at home brewing?
No, I haven't. I've got friends that have done it, and I've got one of my sort of school friends has gone into it in a big way in the last couple of years. So for me, it's just about. I mean, again, it's finding the time, but also the space as well. I don't really have the space. My partner's an artist, so there's lots of art stuff all over in any spare rooms and garages and stuff like that. So to find the room to do homebrew, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's another thing that I think I would like to try, but I haven't done it yet. No.
What's one beer style that you would eliminate?
Completely. That I would eliminate.
Yeah, completely.
Wheat beer.
Okay.
I don't really get wheat beer. I just don't like those sort of flavors really. I mean, I would be stretching it out if I said Belgian beer because that's just sacrilege, I know. But I find a lot of Belgian beer an acquired taste, but then I still think, well, I haven't drank enough of it, so I know there's a huge amounts of different styles, but the wheat beer and I know that sort of you get Belgian beers that've got that sort of banana-y, wheaty, bready, nutmeggy sort of the spicy sort of stuff in beer. I don't not really not into that sort of stuff really.
Can I ask what was your very first beer ever?
It was probably a. I can remember where I was. I was in Lanzarote, so it was probably a Spanish beer when I was like 15, 16. But it would be a small bottle of Spanish beer, whatever that would be, wouldn't it? I don't think it would have been San Miguel or Mal or anything like that.
Some generic lager, then something like that.
Yeah, it would have been definitely a lager. I mean, the first beer I remember buying was things like when I was sort of at that age. No, actually, well, I suppose like a lot of people, started drinking cider. You start on sweet cider, then you go on to the dry cider. Then you go on to something like a Diamond White or K. I don't know if you have that in Ireland. K beer. It was in a black bottle. K cider. I think you still get it, but they were like 8% beers. And you were going for the sort of getting drunk for the cheapest possible price. So you weren't really enjoying it. I mean, I bought things like Special Brew when I was sort of 17, 18. I bought Gold Label beer as well. So all of that sort of stuff. But and I think the general cans. I think beer it's amazing how much beer is. There's so much more different types of beer you can buy. When I was a teenager, it was a case of you'd used to drink either Kestrel or Hofmeister. They were the two big supermarket beers that you could buy, and both of them were pretty bad.
What's your go-to style of beer?
Well, my go-to is a New England IPA. I mean, that's the style that I love really. And I know even New England style, can cover quite a lot of different things, and I go through sort of phases. I'm really into sort of New England style, using New Zealand hops. That'd be my sort of go-to beer at the moment, really.
Favorite brewery?
My favorite brewery, I would still have to say Polly's. Yeah, because I think they make great beer. They bring out like 3 or 4 different beers every week, so I never seem to get around to drinking every beer that they've ever released. And their can art's always really good. So I think Polly's would be my first, and then my top 3 is probably Verdun and Daya. They're the other 2 ones they're in my top 3 of breweries.
Let's go for favorite music and favorite concert of all time.
Favorite music is obviously, I mean, now I'm more into sort of progressive rock and progressive metal, I suppose. But it all came from hard rock and heavy metal from when I was young, really. So, and in terms of the best concert, it's difficult. I've seen so many great bands. I would say one that always sticks out for me is I saw the German band The Scorpions. They do feature a bit on the channel. I'm a big fan of them anyway. But I saw them about 10 years or so ago, and they were getting on then. But the whole gig, when you see a gig, you're always, and especially if you're seeing a gig of a band that have got a huge wealth of music, you always go away thinking, there's always the odd couple of songs that you think, I wish they played. But the night that I saw the Scorpions, they literally played every song that I wanted to hear them play. And that for me was, that made the concert, really.
We'll go with favorite movie.
I think I'd have to say The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, good movie.
Yeah, I think that's a really good film, and every time it's on, I will watch it. I just think it's a really good film.
We'll go with last question because we agreed on half an hour. I think favorite actress.
Favorite actor.
Actress. So we'll go with actress.
Actress. Oh God. God, there's a question. I'm trying to think the sort of films that I really like and with.
I'd kind of keep it clean, please.
Yeah, Pamela Anderson. She's done some really cracking films. Barbed Wire was a classic. There, I'll leave it with that. That's the one that just comes into my mind. Probably not the best actress.
So I think we agreed on half an hour. So I will say thank you to everyone in the chat. I will say thank you to my guests. We'll have to get you back on because I've got lots more questions to ask you. And yeah, so we'll say bye for now. And yeah.
Bye, okay, everyone. Brilliant. Well, thanks for having me on the channel. And I hope, if anyone wants to check out my channel, if they haven't seen it already, a Rockers Beer Review. And if anyone wants any sort of stuff they want me to do, use it, then great.
Yeah, your link should be pinned in the chat, or it should be in the description below if people are watching this afterwards.
Are we still live?
For now, and see you next time.